Hello, lovely people. New adventure unlocked. I'm headed to the next game. My mama's here. We're going to Aqua Zumba. I am getting out of my comfort zone. I am trying fencing today. I'm just there for the vibes. I know nothing about baseball. I'm there for the vibes. Hello, lovely people. I am back. Listen, Linda. Listen. I did not even want to wait till I got home, but I was like, I need to review this right now. So I am reviewing season 1, episode 6 of Divorced Sisters. Listen, Linda. Listen. So we left off with Myron saying, "Hey, babe, are you in the car? Can you talk?" So Pastor's like, "Myron, are you crazy? My wife can hear everything. She's giving me the side eye." So Rashida's face is looking like, "Oh, I know you lying. So she walks away in a huff. She's pissed. I think she's like, I need to process what I just heard. And then he's like, "Oh, are you crazy? Don't you ever call me like that again." He's like, Myron's like, "I'm sorry. I thought it was my wife." Now, first of all, hold on, back up. Because the last conversation you and Pastor had, Pastor said, "I'll call you when I get in the car." And you said, "Okay." So why would you say to your wife, "Hey, babe, are you in the car? Can you talk?" All secret like, "We don't believe you. You need more people." So they get off the phone. Pastor starts praying for him and the family. Right? God gave me a sign. And then I guess Tiffany's a sign because Tiffany calls. Tiffany's like, "I can't find Rashida." Pastor's like, "We had a rough night." And of course, the acting is so terrible. Tiffany's like, "Oh, Pastor, not you too. Don't tell me you cheated on her." And Pastor's like, No, that's not why. She slept in the car. I didn't open the door for her. And apparently everybody knows it's 2 things you don't do when it comes to Rashida. You don't hang up on her. You don't ever not open the door. So Tiffany's like, "Oh, it's over." She's trying to think right now, you better go in there because she's trying to figure out how to not divorce you. And I'm like, dang, is that serious? But we find out why. Because Tiffany tells Pastor that when they were in college and Rashida was with her man and they went to a frat party and her man's homeboys came in and basically SA'd her or whatever. And well, honestly, not whatever. They essayed her, and the man the dude that she was with, that Rashida was so in love with, would not open the door for her to escape them. So she said, "I will never be with a man that don't open the door for me." And then she met the pastor. So basically, the pastor never knew that. Now, is that information that your husband should have known? Certainly. But sometimes, people are under trauma that even your loved one, you can't even verbalize what happened to you. So I'm not going to blame Rashida for that. I'm sure people are probably like, "Oh, Rashida should have told her husband. Being that I am a clinician, I talk to several people that keep traumatic stuff from their partners, not out of malice, but out of shame, out of fear, out of guilt. So I'm not going to judge her on that. Okay. So Tiffany's like, "You better go in there and you better explain to her why she should keep your ass." Now, see, the pastor made it hot because it's like you went from telling her she's crazy for spending the night in the car to all of a sudden you're doing a 180 talking about how, "Oh, you're jealous of Rashida," and this happens a lot where it's like, he's the pastor, she's the first lady, but the people gravitate towards her. The people really like her. And so the fact that he said the higher we go, the more insecure I get, I'm like, You need to figure that out. You need to work that out. So in a sense, you're jealous of your wife, you're resentful of her, and you're taking it out on her. And that is not her problem. So Rashida, I'm telling you, Rashida is the clock it queen, because Rashida was like, why all of a sudden the change of heart? Why all of a sudden you want to be vulnerable? And then, of course, the pastor's trying to lie. And it's like, "Well, I realized I messed up." And you called her crazy. You were like, "It's electric. See, you just press it. It's electric." So you're not fooling anybody. And then he said to her, I'm struggling in your shadow. Boy, bye. Boy, bye. Then he asks Rashida, are you going to leave? She says, well, what makes you think that I'm going to leave? So then Rashida's like, who you been talking to? Because it's too drastic of a change in a matter of minutes. Who you been talking to? And he's like, oh, I want us to ride together. Oh, and she's like, I don't want to go to the hospital. He's like, you don't have to. I'll drop you off before I go. So then Rashida, of course, clocks it. It's like, well, I know you can't stand Naomi. So I know you've not been talking to Naomi. Bridget don't know what happened to me. So it's not Bridget. And then she said, not Geneva. I couldn't ever want. Because somebody tell me what she was saying. She said Geneva was in her. Did she say it was in her bag or something? I don't know. I could not understand what I put the closed caption and didn't even come on. So he was like, so you've been talking to Tiffany. Now, should Tiffany had told her business? No. Tiffany should not have told her business. So yeah, so basically Rashida clocked it, and Rashida was like, you're not being authentic. But some pastors, actually most pastors, the reason why they're pastors is not only, I guess, they know the word, but they're also charming. Pastor Jefferson is very charming, and he was able to charm his way, to talk his way out of it. And yeah, somehow he talked his way out of it. So you got Geneva. Geneva calls Rashida. Geneva is stalking Maddie's mom at this point, okay? Following her to see if she goes to the yoga studio. Rashida's like, you need to go home. You need to come to the church and see me. Rashida's like, okay, I'm just following to see where she's going. And then Rashida kept saying, and then what? What are you going to do? You're stalking this lady. What are you going to do? Right? Okay. Now, listen, I'm not 100% faulting Geneva because she's on her PI stuff. But Rashida's like, you need to go home. You need to go home. Or no, she said you need to go home and change, because Rashida is still in the same outfit from the banquet. I know she was smelling funky. I know she looked cute still, but I know she was like, sometimes you've been in clothes for too long, you feel icky. Like, I know she felt icky. To the church, right? And Calvin runs into Bridget. And Calvin is like, I called the police on Vaughn, and you need to tell me where he is. And Bridget is like, I kicked him out. And Calvin's like, okay, well, where did he go? And he's like, his mom's house. And so Calvin's like, okay, where? She's like, if I tell you, the police are going to get him. Right? And so Calvin's like, you could do better than him. So clearly we know that Calvin has a thing for Bridget. Right? And then Calvin tells Bridget, well, Vaughn is going to go to jail. So here comes Pastor and First Lady hand in hand, all smiling. And they're like, who's going to go to jail? And then Calvin tells Pastor, can I speak to you when you get a chance? They're like, okay. So they walk away. So Bridget's like, ooh, look at y'all too. Because, Bridget has been peeping the dynamic of their relationship. It's been tense from the very beginning. So Rashida's like, we had a rough night, but an even better morning. And Bridget's like, oh, okay, so she's excited. So then Bridget tells Rashida that Geneva is here. Child, my phone overheated. Okay, so let me try to finish this real quick. Anyway, so we got Geneva looking fierce when she's changed, and she's stalking Maddie's mom. She shows up to Maddie's mom's yoga studio, which is weird. And Maddie's mom's like, hey, the classes and the yoga starts in about 2 hours. And she's like, oh, hi, I'm looking for Maddie's mom. There's only one person there. So she's like, oh, yeah, that's me. It's like, oh, yeah, our daughters are in the same class. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, I was wondering if I could arrange a play date. First of all, when I want to meet a mom for a play date, what I do is I put my phone number, I text my phone number to the teacher, and I ask the teacher, can you give my phone number to the mom, and give the mom the option to decide whether they want to text me back or not for a play date. I don't show up to the mom's job like, Geneva, what are you doing showing up to this lady's job? What are you doing? That's weird as hell. See, Maybe because the lady's white. Because a black mama would have been like, and why you at my job? You coming to my job for a play date? That's kind of weird. There's no play date in the world that's that serious, okay? Stalker much. But anyway, but a slick move that Geneva did was, once they exchanged numbers, she leaves her phone, she put it on record. I knew exactly what she was doing when she left her phone. I said, oh, okay, all right. Is she a lawyer for real? Recorded her. I said, Geneva, why are you smoking? That is just not cute. Okay? That is just not cute. It better have been Kadeen, that better have been a fake cigarette. Because that's just not even cute. That is disgusting. Anyway. So Geneva waits a few minutes and then she goes back. Oh, I left my phone. And grabs her phone and comes back. Now, first of all, Tyler Perry. See, this is the problem when you are the writer, the producer, the director, sometimes the actor. Because why did we hear background scenes of widescreen, cut, action? Oh, come on. You are a $1 billion company. You could have edited that out. Now, if somebody like me make a mistake like that, okay, I'm a nobody. No, but I will be a somebody. Okay, I am somebody to somebody. But Tyler Perry, come on. That is a rookie mistake. That is embarrassing. This is going on BT Plus. Come on, do better. You need to give some people jobs. You need a director. We should not be hearing you talk about cut, action. I was like, is it my TV? I had to rewind it. I said, oh no, Tyler Perry done messed up. You trying to see, and this is what happens when you don't have a bunch of editors and that can cut it out on the editing board. Tyler Perry, hire some directors to direct your stuff. Anyway, so Geneva goes back to her car. She listens to the recording, and Maddie's mom's like, "Hey, I just got a strange visit, but I don't want to talk in here. I'll call you when I get in the car." Smart move, Maddie's mom. Smart move. So Geneva goes and visits Rashida, and Geneva's like, "Yeah, William's cheating." But really it's because Geneva's bored. That's what she said. I'm bored. Is this what marriage is about, day in, day out? And Rashida's like, marriage is what you make it. Listen, marriage is challenging. Marriage is tough. But it is what you make of it. Two people have to be willing to put in the effort or the work or whatever. Okay? So Rashida's like, you have a man that loves you. You have a beautiful life. But you just want the drama. Geneva just wants the drama. She wants the bad boy. And let me tell y'all something, ladies. You think you want the bad boy? You think you want those problems? You think you want the drama because, he showed up. Oh, I didn't talk about that. I'm going to talk about that. She wants the excitement until the excitement becomes your everyday. And you're like, you know what? I think I want some peace in my life. Geneva don't know how to have peace. That's the thing. Wrong road, Geneva. Wrong road. Anyway, so, okay, I was like, Geneva, really? Geneva was like, how do we get Tiffany off of him? And Rashida's like, it's only been a day. They just met last night. And Geneva's like, well, they can't have sex because it's the biggest thing I've seen in my life. He could have a big old dingling, but if he doesn't even know how to use it, the size don't even matter. So what are you talking about, Geneva? Like, I wrote down, like, his dick size, really? His D size, for real? Come on, do better. But again, this is Tyler Perry we're talking about, so, So Rashida is basically like, look, I think that you need to focus on your marriage as opposed to focusing on Javon. Oh, and Javon, the clocket queen. I'm sorry, Rashida, the clocket queen. Rashida was like, oh, Geneva said, oh, he's a good man. Savannah, she didn't say that part, but she said he's a good man. And Rashida, the clocket queen, said, a good man who is using your best friend to make you jealous. I said, period. Period. Yep, she right. She right. How's he a good man, but he is using your best friend to make you jealous? Hello? All right, let me go back to the scene where, obviously, Geneva has a thing towards Tiffany because Tiffany is getting with Javon. And Tiffany is right in front of Geneva, calls her. Geneva don't know that Tiffany is seeing her, ignores Tiffany's call. See, this weird fake friendship. I can't stand it because if this is my best friend, let me use my best friend Nancy. Even Nancy, okay? Hey, girl. If Nancy calls me and she see, if Nancy calls me and she don't see that I see her, and I press the ignore button, she gonna blow me up, or she gonna be like, why you ignoring my call? She not gonna be like, oh well, I see you're ignoring my call. I don't like this cooking dagger. I will be like, girl, do we have a problem? Like, hello, like, why are you ignoring my call? I just seen you ignore my call. Like, what's up? What did I do to you? And she would do the same thing to me. Like, you okay? You got a problem? Like, what's up? If we are best friends, if we are good friends, and I'm calling you and you just click hang up not in my face, because she didn't know that Tiffany could see her, but you just hang up? I'm like, oh no, we need to. But Tiffany's like, I don't like this cloak and dagger. I'd be like, okay, girl, all right. I just seen you hang up in my face. Oh, well, I'm really busy. Too busy to call. At least call and say, at least pick up and say, girl, I'm busy. I can't talk right now. If I can't talk right now, sometimes if my best friend call, I'll pick up and say, hey, girl, can I call you right back? Sometimes she'll be like, yeah, okay, but blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, I just said, let me call you right back. But I do that to her too. So it's fine. Anyway, yeah, that irritated me. But I think Tiffany is starting to suspect something's going on. You know why? Because Tiffany was like, I spoke to Vaughn. We talked the whole right there. So now I feel like Tiffany is sensing something. Because why would you say that? We talked the whole ride there. So she's like, oh, okay. And then Tiffany's like, Geneva's like, what are you doing here? Because this is outside of Geneva's house. And Tiffany's like, oh, well, somebody requested for me to show this house. Vaughn basically like handing her flowers in front of Geneva, just laying it on thick, right? But I will say this, even after Geneva left, he still was flirting with her. He was like, oh, I can't wait to kiss you right now. And Tiffany was like, I just met you, and so he was like, okay, maybe after our date. And she was like, maybe. So I mean, Tiffany's cute, so he is attracted to her. But let's go back to Geneva and Rashida, because Geneva was telling Rashida basically like, we got to figure out how to get Tiffany off of Javon. So it looks like that's going to be the play here. Right. But again, Rashida is a clocket queen. So Rashida was telling Geneva, like, listen, you just like the excitement and you really need to focus on your husband. All right. So then they go to talk to Bridget. Now, keep in mind, Myra's trying to be nice to the first lady, and the first lady is like, back up. They go... Oh, no. They go to Bridget to ask Bridget to do something. And Vaughn sends Bridget a text message saying that he wants to unalive himself. So, of course, Bridget is freaked out. She calls Vaughn. Vaughn's not picking up. She's freaking out. They go to the pastor's office. And basically, Vaughn was like, you don't love me. Nobody love me. My mama don't even want me. So the pastor's trying to talk to him. I wish the pastor would have said, again, I'm just talking from my clinician brain. I wish the pastor wouldn't have said, man, I get it. Because when somebody wants to unalive themselves, that is not the thing to tell them. Like, I understand. I get it. That doesn't, no. Because then it's like you're making it about yourself. Because you see how Vaughn responded, like, man, you got a wife, you got cars, you got money, right? So then it became about the pastor as opposed to what Vaughn was feeling. That is a master class for anybody that has a loved one that wants to unalive themselves, is don't make it about yourself, okay? Make it about the person and have empathy with what they're going through. But that's not the way. This is just the clinician side of me speaking. So, they don't know where Vaughn is. So it's not like, because I'm sure people are like, well, why didn't they call 911? They don't know where he is. Now they could have probably called the suicide hotline and did a three-way. That's always another option, but it sounds like Vaughn was very highly emotionally charged. So it's you feel helpless because he's not telling them where he is. I mean, you could call 911, but it's like 911 is going to be like, well, where's the location of the person? We don't know. So now, and then Bridget says she don't even know where the mama is. He could have been outside his mama's house, but they don't even know where the mama is. So, that was very hard. So I'm glad they put the, like the suicide hotline information at the end. Honestly, like, I don't want to be unempathetic because, unaliving yourself is a very serious thing. But I'm glad Vaughn's character could go. Like, bring Tiffany a good man, Savannah. Bring Bridget. Bring Bridget, like, give Bridget a break. Bring Bridget a man that cares for her, that got some money, that loves her. Like, she already the help among her friends. Like, throw her a bone, Tyler Perry. Throw her a bone. Like, even like when so Vaughn, he unalives himself. Y'all know that. And then that's how the scene ends. But bring Bridget somebody that will elevate her amongst her group of friends. Because even when Geneva came to see Rashida, and Bridget said to Rashida, Geneva's here, she couldn't even stay and kiki with them because she's still at work. She's the help. And Bridget was like, I can't stay. And Rashida was like, no, you got to go. We got business to handle. It really wasn't business. It was Geneva talking about Javon. I mean, they try to do business and talk about, I guess, the first lady in the past of writing a book. They only talked about that for 5.2 seconds because Geneva couldn't even focus. So just bring Bridget somebody good. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like the template for Tyler Perry's shows is all the same. You got 5 women, drama. I mean, the show is good. The episode was good. I'm just like... So I'm curious to see how Bridget Rose evolves. Now, she's about to go through depression, a grief process. So we got to allow her to do that. But it's Tyler Perry, so who knows what's going to happen with Bridget. All right, y'all. It was a good episode. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next review. Bye.